Good morning. I woke up probably around 30 minutes ago, but I'm going through the comments on the YouTube channel, and the one comment was referring to the plasma, and we have a big plasma playlist on here. This is the web plasma, the plasma playlist. We have 69 videos in the web plasma, and I happen to believe that plasma is a living being, a living entity. And someone was referring to, if plasma is living, they're doing something. They're enslaving the plasma. Good morning, Apple Brooks, honey. So it brought me back to the dream that I had last night. They had this gigantic plasma being. It was a golden plasma being, like a web. And they had it tied up on both ends, on four corners, this great big gigantic golden plasma web, and there was like red showing up on the outlines of it. It had like its legs, if you can have it in a leg, and its arms. And these men were down there at the bottom, and they were shooting the electricity at it and making it shake like that, and they were laughing. It was an enormous plasma being in my dream state. I saw it there, and I thought, what is that plasma being there? And it was like shaking and stuff from the electrical shock that it was being given. And they were down there, and they kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and they were laughing. And then I realized, they're trying to hurt that plasma being. And that's what they were doing, and they were enjoying it. And then it made me really upset. It did make me upset. In my dream state, I don't know what I did, but I was aware of what they were doing to the plasma. If they can manipulate the plasma, which they are doing, CERN is manipulating it. It's doing all kinds of things. And if we got this, this is the last plasma thing I think we did, this plasma event that was in France. Can y'all hear me well? I hope you can. I'm sitting here with Rosie. She decided she's going to climb up on this chair so her can look out the door. And I stuck a log in the fire. But if they can manipulate the plasma, and they can torture the plasma, that's really what they were doing. They were torturing the plasma. And the comment was referring to plasma is like a slave. And we use our phones all the time, but it reminded me of my dream state. They're trying to make the plasma do what they want it to do and also the person referred to it as being an intelligent being too. And it is intelligent. It's very, very intelligent. Oh, well, my hair is wild. So would you put it past them to do something like that? No, I wouldn't put it past them at all to do anything like that. Let me tell you something about Ukraine. Before all this stuff started breaking out in Ukraine, we had the most wildest plasma in Ukraine. Oh, we documented a lot. And it was always at this one area right here. This one area. One time there was a golden egg, a golden plasma egg that showed up in Ukraine. Watch this, plasma. If I type this out, I hope this would look on my, see if I can get over here and type the plasma in the Ukraine on my channel. If I can do it, you all, because let me flip this around. And it was in Odessa, and then the war broke out. Everything started breaking out, you all. It did, and I thought, wow. Let me do this plasma in Ukraine. Plasma, Ukraine. They were battling it out. Plasma, Ukraine. Before any of this happened. Any of this. Look at this. There was so much activity going on. I put it to music. I did. It was going wild. And that plasma is not just something on a lens like some people want to try to dismiss. It is a living being. There truly was these yellow golden plasmas, they were battling the other plasmas that came in, and they were dark. They were opening up portals in the Ukraine, and I'm not joking. The plasma was guarding around this area, and the dark forces were opening up portals. And every time they would try, because they would suck the energy out from the other yellow plasma and the multicolored plasma, you could see them sucking the plasma. It was shrinking. And as they did so, they were forming a great big portal in Ukraine. Now you can see right here, there's more of it. It was all over the place. See that dark portal that they opened? They opened that dark portal. The bad forces opened that dark portal. That was a year ago in Ukraine, right there. And whenever it would get intense, the other plasma would come around and they would work together and they would draw from the other sources and they would close the portals that they were trying to open, you all. This is the golden egg. The golden egg ship in Crimea, Ukraine, 2 years ago. It seems like it's been a lifetime ago, you all. There was a golden egg that showed up. And this is the Vorontsov Palace, or the Alupa Palace, in a historic palace situated at the foot on the Crimea Mountains, near the town of Alupka in Crimea. It is one of the oldest, and whatever. That golden egg showed up. And there were portals being open, you can see, and they drawed the energy from the high-efficiency plasma lights. They acted as a portal. Okay, this is in West Baden, Germany. This plasma entity was attached to that building, that church or something, you all. So they were torturing the plasma entity is what they were doing, trying to do something to it. And at this one time, look, this plasma playlist is really good. The plasma has spiked near the SpaceX launch site in Texas. It got that tall. The plasma at that SpaceX thing got that tall. Taller than the ships. So this plasma, they're manipulating it, and there's good plasma and there's bad plasma, like dark plasma. That's the one that they don't really know about. They don't know the properties of it, but that's what they want to get. The dark plasma, the dark entity. I wonder if it's like the black cloud. I really do. There was something else. If you are inclined to check out the plasma playlist, some of the videos go in depth. They do. And look, I wonder what that was about. I woke up at 2 a.m. thinking about plasma and mirrors. Well, that's a long video, Gina, honey. I don't think I want to sit here and look at your plasma and videos. Plasma and mirrors. France. And you know, they say that people, when you see an orb or like round round things, that people's spirits are in them. It's wild. So in my dream state, they were torturing a plasma that they had captured. Somehow they captured it, and it was the humans on the ground doing it to the plasma. And they were shocking it. They were shocking the plasma because it was so big, and it was the golden plasma. And it had red all on the outline of it. And they were enjoying everything they were doing to that plasma just because they could in my dream state. So we have a plasma playlist right here. And it has 69 videos in it. And it's No, I don't want to look at the plasma right there. I don't want to look at this, you all. So, shoot, that messed me up. Let me put this back to me. I was just trying to look at these. I was just trying to look at all the plasma. I'm sorry. We do have a plasmosphere around the Earth, too. There is a magnetosphere and there is a plasmasphere around the Earth. I've devoted a ton of time to it, a ton of time to the plasma. And I just haven't been finding it lately. Dublin was where a ton of it was happening too, in Dublin, Ireland. So you could check that out, you all. But it was an increase of plasma all over the place. And I think CERN, once it started ramping up, I don't know what happened, you all. But I can tell you that the cameras where we got the good plasma documentation from, they didn't allow us access to them anymore. They didn't. They shut them down. Or they moved the camera away to where we couldn't see them is what they did. Yeah. So then that reminds me of the plasma apocalypse. Why would they even hypothesize about a plasma apocalypse? Think about it. Sometimes the sun in the sky looks like it's a plasma entity. Sometimes the moon looks like a plasma entity. And I wonder at those times if we're really documenting the real sun that is up there in the sky and the real moon, if they indeed are an entity. And not talking about the moon simulator or the sun simulator thing. No, I'm talking about actual plasma beings, gigantic, living plasma. Rosie, honey, I don't know what you're doing, but you're just trying to get going. See, what they tried to do, this plasma made dark matter. It literally gave birth. This was a plasma, and it gave birth to dark matter, you all. You may say, Gina, now you're losing it. Oh, no. Oh, no. I went frame by frame, and this plasma formed a web. It made a web, you all, like a spider web. And the plasma looked like dirt clumps. It would have contractions. This is what I felt it was doing in my spirit. I was sensing it. It had contractions. First, it made its web so that it could be the place where it would position itself to give birth to the dark plasma that disappeared into the night. It did. It disappeared into the night. It would shake, and then the dark plasma, which looked like dirt clods, crawled out from underneath it and crawled up on top of it and then vanished into the night, is what it did. Vanished into the night, you all. This is web plasma giving birth. Go to the plasma playlist. This little one shows it going over and over and over and over right there. But in my dream, they were doing something bad to the plasma. And they do something bad to lots of things. They're manipulators. They don't care about life. They really don't. No matter what that type. Well, they do care about life. And you know how you were saying that life matters? Well, there is a black cloud. And they said if it were to come into our system, our world, they would have to change the definition of what is a life form. And they would have to say that this black cloud life matters. That's my take on it. I've done a video on that. When they had the people chanting it, Black Life Matters, there is a great big black entity out there, a black cloud, probably like that black hole. And They want to bring it here. And when you chant something like that, you're giving power to that entity. They literally did. If a black cloud, it would be a highly intelligent cloud. I've looked up and they said that these black clouds, certain types of them, they're neurologically, something about the neurons, and they are super intelligent. Super intelligent. And that's what that's all about. When they brought this all out, they're not talking about the people. No, they're talking about bringing in their God. Not the people's God, but this black cloud entity, the darkness, that behemoth of an entity. And like a gaseous-like form or something like that. It's not even plasma, I don't think. But plasma is a gas. Plasma is a gas, so that's wild, you all. That is wild. Plasma is a gas that they put in the lights. And to make all those pretty colors. So look at this. It gave birth. And that dark clump was plasma crawling up. It's up there at the top of it, you all. I know I shouldn't use my phone. You see it's having contractions. It's having contractions, and when it has contractions like that, is when the dark plasma would crawl out. And I apologize, the beams of my ceiling are showing up on here. See it? That's the clumpy dirt. Clumpy dark plasma. It has contractions and it crawls out, is what happens. And it was actually quite interesting to watch. It really is, if you like to study that kind of stuff, to think that something like that could literally come to life and then produce life under the right circumstances. After I showed that, first of all, they kind of shadow banned that plasma giving birth. They shadow banned that video. And then that particular camera, they took it down for a long time, months and months and months. Then when they put it back up, it was facing a different direction. And then I think it's back up, but it's blurred. When nighttime comes, they blur it so you can't tell what's going on at that. So, yeah, that's what I'd like to say about the plasma. They were torturing it. And then there is such thing as a plasma apocalypse. But in the plasma apocalypse theory, the sky recedes like a scroll. It literally does. It opens up. And it's during that time when it opens up that the beings on Earth have this great big ship that they want to get on, and they only have a short window of opportunity to go through that opening in the sky when that plasma apocalypse happens, and they think they're going to make it out of there. But the plasma apocalypse, when the sky recedes like a scroll more or less, opens up, it starts taking the organic life from the earth. It starts, anything organic, it starts pulling it up or something. They were describing it. And the humans on Earth, the military on Earth, it didn't want the plasma entity. They called it a plasma entity. It wanted to retrofit these humans. They wanted to make it to where they couldn't take all the humans, so they implanted the humans with some kind of technology that would keep them from being taken up, because they didn't want them to be a completely organic entity that would be taken out of there. The plasma apocalypse. I'm just trying to remember how it went, you all. But there is something to the plasma apocalypse theory. And when I was reading it, it's some kind of cartoon-like thing. But there is this person right there. I think he's done videos on it. And The ancient oblivion, the plasma apocalypse. I'm just now looking at this. Binaural frequencies. Out of the plasma apocalypse, robot rises. I'm not surprised. To compete with the flying, I don't know about this, but this right here. Who knows, you all? Plasma apocalypse. There's something to it. There is. Why America should prepare. Lineage. Ancient oblivion. So there is something like that. Okay, so Gina, I thought you had a dream. You ain't talked about your dream. Well, in my dream state, there was this great big golden plasma web, and it was massive, and it had red on the outline of it. It's like they had its arms and its legs stretched out, and it was like a web entity. And these men on the end, they were sending electrical shock waves up there, torturing it because it was shaking and everything. And they were enjoying what they were doing because I thought that plasma looked like it's in pain. Then I looked below and I saw them doing it. They had controls, and those controls, that whatever the plasma was going up these lines, shocking the gigantic plasma entity. And it was wrong. It was totally wrong. But I'm not surprised that they would do something like that. If they did find one, I'm sure they would literally shock it to death just because they like it. Gary, someone is stealing my energy. Nobody's stealing my energy. When I was in that dream state, I did not sense that that was me whatsoever. I did not sense that whatsoever in my dream state. Now, is there a dark force out there that's trying to steal all of our energy? Absolutely. It's trying to take us out. It's trying to put out our light. But I don't feel that that was me. And the way I understand it in the dream state, it's very important how the person feels in the dream state because that's their dream and they're having it. But that wasn't me at all, if that's what you were referring to. Yeah. That's right, Rick. Waging wars against it. Our planet is using our energy to ascend. Something. Yeah. How to survive your plasma apocalypse. Y'all check that out, the theory of the plasma apocalypse. Yeah. You know what was really interesting about Don't Give Blood? When all this was going on, you couldn't give your blood. And I noticed that there was a plasma donation center in Jeffersonville, Indiana. I thought, why do they got a plasma donation center? But they do, and you can get lots of money for it too. Since we're talking about a plasma apocalypse and the MCO event. So that's it, you all. That's it. That's that dream state of mine. They were torturing it, and it wasn't very nice, and they thought it was funny, but it's not funny. That's okay. They can't taint they can't taint the blood of Jesus. They cannot. And when he was cutting aside, it was water, well, the living water coming out. I think that's what that was. Living water, side of Jesus. When they pierced his side, look at this. When they came to Jesus, he was already dead. This is when he's dead on the cross, but they didn't break his leg. Instead, the soldiers pierced his side to assure that he was dead. In doing this, it is reported that blood and water came out, referring to the watery fluid surrounding the heart and the lungs. Blood and water. See, that's what they're trying to say. from his side. Blood is for redemption. And the water, I don't know what that was. So, yeah. But science always has a interesting hypothesis for everything that happens. The water symbolizes the Holy Spirit. I mean, you can look at it. I've never looked at what's all out there for that, you all. I haven't. But he ascended. Ascended up in the clouds. Ascended up in the clouds. He's coming back in the clouds too. So that's right. I don't think it's going to be those clouds out there. It might be. I don't know. All I know, you all, is this. Our world has been turned upside down and everything is not as it seems. Even when you see things on the internet, you can't believe everything. It's like a 50-50 chance now. I think it's safe to say 50-50, unless there's an all-out, great big, no way that's real thing, because you can see all this mistakes that are made in it. Yeah. So a plasma apocalypse. Look. Quantum computing. Quantum computing, the black cloud, and the Q. So this is 1 year ago. Various forms of life have been theorized by many. Could there be the life form called the Q in the black cloud? This is what they were saying mattered, the black life that was in that cloud. That's who they're talking about. You could watch that video, because if I've put that there, I'm sure I have referenced that National Institute of Health, and in this right here. I'm sure that was referenced in this. Quantum computing. The black cloud is the one that is highly, highly super intelligent species. And they said if either one of those would come back, they would have to look at what they define as a life form. They have to redo it. Totally have to redo it. Right there. Totally have to. So, hello. Good morning, Nierka. The Rome Colosseum. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, this is on screen. So I'm sure I've referenced authoritative data, authoritative sources on here, because we did internet searches and we went to everything that was on there. So I am going to go, you all. And with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. And I've got little bitty Rosie, honey, climbed up on here. Her wants to lay right there. And because she feels at peace. Have a wonderful morning, you all. Love you.